You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications.
And this is Saturday, March the 9th, and you have indeed entered overtime. And if you are seeing this, this means you've made a conscious decision to spend part of your evening with me when you could have been spending it instead with Justin Timberlake right up the dial. Advantage Dewar. I'm going to milk that for all it's worth. And who actually saw that one coming ever? Like I said, I'm milking it. Hey, we've got plenty of goodies to get to on this quality half-hour sports program tonight, including our feature on Jeff Zanger's return to the softball fold at Payson Seymour. But we start tonight in quest of upsets, or at least one very big one. The John Wood Trailblazers' path to a national tournament berth is blocked appropriately and dauntingly enough by a pair of the nation's top 12 Division II junior college programs. In fact, Brad Hoyt's squad would have to beat second-ranked Danville area this afternoon, winners of 17 straight games, mind you, just to reach the Region 24 title game on Sunday, which they're hosting. And I tell you what, Danville came out woofing at it today. John Wood trying to come out shooting a little better than they did against Parkland. Mission accomplished in this one. Mike Roy going to start things off, breaking the seal with a beautiful runner right here, and that would set the tone for the offense. Now at the other end, I'm not going to kid you, Danville gave full quarter in this one. From the outside, Evan Blackman would answer, but the Blazers put the dagger right back in Danville area's back right here. It's James Lane from a spot of comfort. Boy, he's good from the top of the key, knocking that back as well. And then it gets really fun. More from Mr. Roy, the outstanding point guard, with the runner. That will go. Cortland Jackson going to attack here from the angle. He'll miss, but again, it's James Lane who had himself a day. He's there to send it in on the offensive putback. Boy, the Blazers were good on the offensive glass as well. And more to come right here. How about a little felony and finger roll action from Michael Roy at the other end? And all of a sudden, the Blazers were off and running up 6 early in this ball game. They're not done. Building more for Mr. Lane to put his team up 8. Are you kidding me? Great start right here. And just as quickly, however, at the other end, Danville area would get right back into it. They are explosive, including Mike Rice with a beautiful take right here, right through the heart of the defense. But John Wood just kept plugging away in this game. Darius Porter posting and punishing right here for the easy deuce. Then John White off the bench. Great flourish at the end of the second half for his team. White was big in it. Huge three, knocking that back right here from the corner as he finds himself wide open at that point. More to come off this right here. Little miss, it will be Raviel Burton cleaning up nicely from the Isle of Antigua. But first, nice cleanup right there by the aforementioned John White on the tap and follow up. Then when White would miss, this would be Raviel Burton putting one home as well on the follow. And then a little Brad Hamilton action as well. The lead back up to 6 at this point in favor of the Blazers just before half. End of the first half. How about some more John White? 1.1 second left to go. Danville hits the free throw, and White going to get to half court and let fly. And are you kidding me? It is good. Half court buzzer beater makes it 30-22 Trailblazers at the half. John White all fired up. He had 12 points on the ball game. It would get better in the second half here. More Darius Porter here, more James Lane, and John Wood would extend their lead in this ball game to as many as 17 points. But just that quickly, back comes your player of the year in the conference, Chris Whitehead, and Danville area, Cody Tucker from the outside. And just as quickly as the lead grew, it had shrunk to 6 at that point. Brad Hamilton trying to answer, knocking down a 3 here, trying to keep things at bay from Danville. The kids all excited, though. They were sensing the upset, getting their dance on at that point. Still, Danville area would not die. Here, real interesting exchange as it looks like Darius Porter got flat knocked out at one end, and at the other end, Derek Schaus going to hit the three-pointer to make it a 58-56 ball game. John Wood still ahead, but only up 2. Fortunately, down the stretch for the Blazers, they were able to hit a couple of free throws. They weren't great at it, but enough to get the job done. And yes, the upset is complete. The John Wood Trailblazers take out the number 2 team in the country and end Danville area's 17-game win streak. Final count in that one, 66-58, which means John Wood is moving on to host tomorrow Ren Lake, the number 1 seed, but the number 12 team in the country. Still another very good team. They beat Lincoln today, did Ren Lake, 76-65. So John Wood versus Ren Lake, the 1 versus the 3 seed tomorrow on Sunday at the Student Activities Center on campus at John Wood. Should be a dandy showdown, and Brad Hoyt overjoyed that his team will come in with plenty of momentum for the big challenge tomorrow.
That's a pretty good basketball team, you know. I mean, they haven't lost since the beginning of December, so we knew going into this that we were going to have a work cut out for us. But our guys have played hard and they've competed really all year. And today was just sort of a sort of a compilation of that. We sort of competed and played hard and came out on top.
Unlike the last time you played these guys, you look like you had some confidence. What was the biggest difference in that, I guess? Hitting shots early?
Well, I think that helps naturally. You know, I think we got some confidence after we played them the first time. You know, I mean, it came down to a 5-point game. We had chances to tie it late here, and I think our guys got some confidence out of that, thinking, hey, we're 1 or 2 possessions away. And so it wasn't a situation where we sort of came in sort of wondering if we could play with them or not. Our guys are pretty comfortable and pretty confident that we could give them a pretty good swing.
Stepping stone moment, obviously, to get back for the first time. I think I read since '96. First time you guys are back in the finals. That probably not the last milestone you'd like to knock down here this weekend. What do you got to do to take out Rend Lake? I mean, obviously another dragon to slay.
It is, you know, and yeah, I mean, it's a great step for our program. It's great to get back, and we sort of talked about that today, that, you know, after that game tonight, we've got to enjoy that, but that can't be it. You know, I mean, our big days tomorrow and getting back to the championship was really one of our goals. So Rend Lake is a really good basketball team, but to be honest with you, we have to do the same stuff we did today. We got to play hard, we got to go to the glass, and we got to sort of be us and sort of do what we do. And either way, we're going to give it a pretty good swing.
Gem City tomorrow, you owe it to yourself to go check this ball game out. Should be a dandy showdown. John Wood really playing some entertaining basketball right now. Speaking of entertaining basketball, we've gone final in the first round of Western Illinois showdown in the Summit League with South Dakota. The number 7 seed, the 2 seed survives a scare. This game just went final 54-53. It wasn't pretty, though rarely have Leatherneck games been pretty, except in the win column at the end of it. Again, Western Illinois going to advance on into the semifinals, which will be played on Monday. Going to endeavor to get you some highlights of this game now that it went final a little deeper in the show here on Overtime, probably in about 15 minutes if all works out according to plan. Let's do some diamond scores, and believe it or not, amid the melting snow, we had some today. Western Illinois falls at Minnesota today. 5-1 was your final. That game played in the Metrodome today. That had to be fun. Brent Turner with the only RBI on the day for the Leathernecks. John Wood falls to 1-1 on the season, picking up their first loss, a heartbreaker. Great debut from the freshman Brock Best out of Colorado. Had 7 strikeouts, did take the loss, but probably deserved better. Didn't get a whole lot of run support, though. Great showing. Again, John Wood now 1-1 on the season. Culver Stockton, rough day on the road at McKendree, where apparently there was no snow on the ground. McKendree sweeps a pair from the Wildcats, 2-1 in the first game, and despite a home run from Andrew Quillis in the second game, it would be Culver Stockton losing that one as well. Final count sees the Wildcats go down to defeat 11-6. Well, we've hit true March Madness on the Tri-State Sports calendar, and that means we've got Con Communication Connection winners to celebrate from the month of February. We gave you 5 really sensational plays to choose from the last month on our website during the throes of the basketball playoffs, and you have exercised your right to vote on your favorite on our website, which you guys did in record numbers, so thank you very much for that. So first of all, let's talk about our winners for March. Your winner for Play of March was the last one we offered you, and why not? Reed Bensinger from Menden Unity, albeit in a loss in the sectional championship game to arch rival Payson. Hard to beat a 3/4 court shot, and Reed Bensinger about broke the voting this month. So congratulations to all who got out and voted for his wonderful shot right there, as you see it over and over again. And we also reward all of you who take part in the process by randomly drawing one voter as a winner from that pool for a prize package from Con Communications. Great prize package, and this go round, the winner is Paige Denish. Paige Denish, D-E-N-I-S-H. Congratulations to Paige. Enjoy that prize package. It is a good one, and thanks everyone for participating. And speaking of participating, let's look ahead to next month, where your Con connection is really in triplicate, coming from Tuesday night super sectional game between Payson Seymour and Madison. Rarely have I seen a high school basketball game with a kid get 3 different alley-oop dunks, but Gage Klitz did exactly that for the Payson Seymour Indians. Not 1, not 2, but 3 alley-oop throwdowns. That, my friends, is a connection of the highest order, and good enough to make him our first nominee for the month. He's not only a great basketball player, he'll do a good job bagging your groceries as well. So congratulations to Gage, and at the end of the month, if you are a fan of the big man from Payson Seymour, get on the website at connecttristates.com and cast your vote. It should be lots of fun, and hopefully we'll have some great highlights now moving over to the Diamond as we move forward on the year. And when we come back here with more of our Overtime show, after a brief retirement, one of the region's best coaches is back on the Diamond this season with both renewed enthusiasm and a very heavy heart. Our feature on Payson Seymour's Jeff Zanger is straight ahead.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar, brought to you by Con Communications.
And and welcome back to Overtime, everybody. You know, I've been in the business of covering sports for more than 20 years now, and it's hard to think of a coach over that span who seemed to better suited, I should say, to his sport, his school, and his community than Jeff Zanger, which made his decision to step away from the Payson Seymour softball program back in 2010 more than a little surprising. Certainly he had a growing family and more demanding job duties, but given the joy he seemed to derive from coaching, I had a hard time imagining retirement would ever fully take for the man. 3 years later, we now know that it really never did. And while all of us would dearly love for the circumstances of Jeff's return to the dugout this winter to have been written in a far less heartbreaking manner, there is still something uplifting and heartening in his story of coming around full circle.
But this is my team. I mean, this is my program, and I'm back to where it just feels right.
The softball diamond has long been a place that has brought Jeff Zanger joy. A passion reflected, yes, by his success in turning Payson Seymour into Western Illinois' most bankable winner over a 12-year span. See also the 238 victories and 5 regional titles the Lady Indians amassed on his watch between 1999 and 2010. But Zanger's commitment always went well beyond just the mere job description of coach, be it his force of nature efforts to build the Lady Indians the best possible diamond on which to play their games, or illustratively, his stubborn, almost maniacal refusal to ever let Mother Nature spoil a contest on that field with a rainout, doggedly arming himself with a shovel, a rake, and a year's supply of quick dry at the first sign of a sprinkle. And in that respect, Jeff Zanger has always been Lady Indian softball's most avid, enthusiastic booster. And as such, it's little surprise he answered the call when Payson Seymour needed him the most.
The bug came and caught me. We didn't have any applicants that really had put in for the position, and then it hit January, then it hit almost the 1st of February, and it was still open. And I just, it's kind of my baby. I couldn't let it just go without a coach. And some of the girls had requested, for me to come back, and I talked to my wife and my kids, and we decided we'd give it another shot.
The timing and this window of opportunity proved to be a blessing for the Payson Seymour community, but even more so for the coach himself. In the wake of the death of his 2-year-old son, Easton Zanger, this past December, who you may know better as Superman, the diamond, which has been so many other things to Jeff Zanger over the course of his career, became one more, a place of refuge.
Softball's an amazing thing, and I told the girls, when we met right away, I said, I'm a different coach than I was 5 years ago, because I used to think softball was life and death, and I found out that it's not. But catharsis would be a good way to put it. The 2 hours that I spend in practice right now is usually the best 2 hours of my day. I mean, I love the game. I can focus totally on the game and on a great group of kids, and that kind of takes me away from some of the other things that occupy my mind right now.
For a coach in want of a diversion and/or challenge, Payson softball is certainly interestingly positioned, with theoretically nowhere to go but down after a watershed 2012 campaign whose trophy-decorated ending Jeff Zanger got to see and enjoy from a somewhat unique vantage point in East Peoria last May.
It was an amazing thing to see the girls produce like they had, and in some ways I still considered them my girls. I considered that a good chunk of my team, and it was very gratifying to see how they performed on that level. And I'd been here 12 years prior to leaving, and talked a lot about getting Payson on the state stage, and they made it a couple years after I left. But it was still a great thing to see the Payson Indians out there playing at the state tournament.
Jeff Zanger is certainly no stranger to the burden of softball expectations, but this is also breaking new territory, especially for a program going from reliance on Western Illinois' most dominant hurler to suddenly finding nothing but question marks on the bump.
You don't replace Cheyenne Bowman. I mean, we don't have a pitcher that will match up to what she had, her physical skills and talent and work ethic. But what we do have is we have 5 different girls that are throwing now, and we're going to ask them to throw strikes. They're not going to get 15 strikeouts a game, but we're going to play defense behind them, and we're just going to ask them to keep us in the game, and then we're going to focus on our strengths. And I feel like hitting is going to be a strength for us this year, and defense is going to have to be, because we're going to have to play the ball this year. Yeah, I mean, this program now has won 3 regionals in a row. It's been to the state tournament. It then won was it a sectional championship the year previous to that. So I mean, there's some high expectations, and I told the girls when we started, I said, last year is over. There's nothing you did last year that's going to win you a game this year. But you know what? I said, this program hasn't had a losing season in 20 years or more. And I don't anticipate that happening this year. I expect us to do, take advantage of the strengths that we have and improve the weaknesses, and we're going to be okay.